You ever notice how bad habits don't argue with you? They just nod, smile, and win. You promise you'll stop scrolling at midnight, stop snacking when stressed, stop procrastinating. And then it's 1:17 a.m. You're eating crisps and watching a penguin documentary you didn't plan for. Here's the quiet truth. Bad habits win not because they're powerful, but because they're convenient. They run on autopilot. They require no preparation. They're always within reach. Meanwhile, the good habits we want tend to need a running start. So the real question isn't, how do I get disciplined? It's, why does my brain keep choosing the path of least resistance? And is there a softer way to flip that? Most advice treats habits like warfare: discipline, hustle, willpower. But that framing misses something obvious. The bad habit isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to meet a need. Dopamine, comfort, distraction, novelty, escape, take your pick. Your brain isn't broken. Your settings are just on default. Habits are scripts. The ones you repeat become trusted, and you don't stop a script by yelling at it. You stop it by offering one that crashes less often. This is where most people quit, because they assume the better option needs to be intense, optimized, or life-changing. But the things that actually break bad habits are usually tiny, boring, and gentle. Here are 3 shifts that make that possible. Shift 1. Stop treating habits as moral battles. Imagine 2 versions of you. Version A has snacks on the table, phone on the bed, Netflix open. Version B has fruit washed, notebook open, phone charging in another room. Same person, different environment, different outcome. We blame motivation, but environment wins far more battles than discipline ever does. Most bad habits don't start with intention. They start with proximity. So here's a small experiment. Don't quit anything yet. Just make the bad habit 10 seconds further away. Move distracting apps off the home screen. Put snacks on a higher shelf. Charge your phone in the hallway. Leave your book on your pillow. Bad habits need immediacy. If you remove immediacy, the brain hesitates, and hesitation is leverage. Shift 2. Replace, don't remove. If you remove a bad habit without replacing it, your brain rejects the update. It doesn't care that you want to improve. It cares that the old behavior handled something, even poorly. Scrolling solves boredom. Snacking solves stress. Procrastination solves discomfort. Gaming solves loneliness. Trying to delete a coping mechanism without a substitute is like uninstalling maps in a new city and blaming yourself for getting lost. So replacement isn't about efficiency, it's about function. Bored? Keep a list of 30-second micro activities. Stressed? Do 2 minutes of slow breathing. Lonely? Send a single text to someone you like. Unmotivated? Open the task and do one tiny part. The replacement doesn't need to be better. It just needs to give your brain an alternative route. The funny thing, replacements rarely feel impressive. They feel almost disappointing. But simple is repeatable, and repeatable is how scripts change. Shift 3. Make the friction microscopic. People assume good habits should start big. Run 5 kilometers, read 40 pages, meditate for 20 minutes. But big habits fail for a boring reason. Your brain hates unstable energy costs. A habit that requires full motivation or perfect conditions is software that freezes on launch. So here's a better rule. If it's not easy enough to do when you're tired, stressed, and mildly annoyed, it's too big. Want to journal? 1 sentence. Want to read? 2 pages. Want to run? Walk around the block. Want to sleep earlier? Lights off 10 to 15 minutes sooner. When the starting cost drops, the habit finishes itself. The quiet identity shift. When people say, "I'm trying to quit," they're describing conflict. When they say, "I don't do that anymore," they're describing identity. The shift from effort to identity isn't dramatic. It happens when the new behavior becomes boringly normal. That's the real win. Not motivation, not guilt, not hype, just neutrality. Bad habits fade not when life gets inspiring, but when the alternative becomes the default setting. And that's why this topic is quieter than most people expect. It isn't about energy, it's about removing noise. The calm part. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need routines, tracking charts, or grit. You need one shift that is boring, repeatable, environment supported, identity compatible. So here's a gentle challenge for the next 48 hours. Pick one habit you want to replace. Identify what need it serves. Give your brain a low-effort substitute. Lower the starting cost to almost nothing. Run the experiment without judging the results. No streaks, no deadlines, no new me. Just curiosity. Bad habits don't win through strength. They win through consistency. And the only thing that beats them is consistency in the other direction. The quiet kind that doesn't announce itself.